Nowadays, when someone wants a vintage style guitar from Fender, they normally try and go for something that's really period correct, with all of the exact specifications that those guitars had at that time. You hear people looking for 50s Teles and 60s Strats, etc, etc. I mean, some people even want to go as specific as to say they want a 51 Tele or a 1963 Strat. And for the most part, particularly with their new American Vintage 2 series, they offer just that. Period correct guitars with all the correct specifications from that particular year. However, more recently, they've just released a series of guitars that have some vintage specs, but they have a bit of a twist to them. They're vintage style guitars, but not quite as history would remember them. Today, we're looking at the Gold Foil series, which is a new limited edition series from Fender that takes a load of vintage style specs, but not necessarily period correct from Fender back in the day. There's 3 options in the range, including a Telecaster, a Jazzmaster, and a Jazz bass. Now, the main headline here is the pickups. Each guitar is fitted with Fender's own specially designed gold foil pickup. And as far as I can see in history, it's not a pickup that's ever really been in a Fender guitar before. The originals were fitted into what were called student guitars at the time, mainly because of their affordable price point, and it made it perfect for student musicians and indeed young rockers who didn't exactly have a lot of cash to flash. This fact meant that these affordable gold foil guitars helped define the sound of the 60s garage rock scene, with DIY musicians picking up these affordable instruments and changing the music scene. So what are they? Well, essentially they're humbucker pickups, which makes them a lot thicker and warmer sounding than the traditional single coils that you tend to see on Fender guitars. Because they also produce less noise from the amp, you can also push a lot more gain through them, which makes them a lot better suited to heavier rock styles. However, these humbucking pickups definitely aren't the same kind of humbucking pickups that you would see in something like a Les Paul. These gold foil pickups have got a lot more of a high-end vintage sparkle and certainly don't have the same kind of beef that you'd expect from a Les Paul. As you'll hear in a bit when we play them, they kind of sit in between a traditional humbucker and a single coil pickup in terms of the sound, but they have this really nice vintage character, which is just so infectious. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, whilst these pickups are based off affordable guitars from the 60s, these guitars themselves are cut from a much finer cloth. Mahogany bodies as well as premium vintage hardware make sure that these guitars feel just as nice as they sound. So that's enough chit chat about them, so let's just hear what they sound like. Now, to really show off the eclectic sound of these gold foil pickups, I thought it'd be really nice to get in 2 very different but equally talented guitarists in Thom and Nathan to show off just how versatile these pickups can be. Nathan being great for country and jazz and funk and all that, and Thom, of course, is our resident shredder and chugger and all sorts of other things in between. And with that, here we go. And there we have it. That was the brand new limited edition Fender Gold Foil series. All in all, it's just a really nice, quirky, vintage inspired offering from Fender that fits really nicely into that range for people who don't want to go and get the same Strats and Teles and Jazzmasters that Fender have been producing for years. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those, but it's just nice to have something a bit different to the standards. They are limited edition though, so if you are interested, don't hesitate, because once they are gone, they're gone. You can find all the information that you need down in the description of this video to go and pick out your own unique vintage inspired gold foil guitar. Thanks so much to Thom and Nathan for coming down and lending their hand to show off these guitars, and thanks to you guys for watching as well. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to see more things like this, and we will see you very soon.